Thanks, Murray. Well, very sort of official sort of stuff that, all those sort of things I've done, but like many of us, I think the reason we actually got started in this is because we had a conversation with somebody from the union or a passionate colleague who sort of said, look, you can't remain as frustrated as you are unless you actually go and do something. Have you thought about? And that bloke for me was Mike Pote, who was a former president at the time, and the message I sort of want to give to you all is you can do that for others at any time, no matter where they are within your school or your workplace. Just a conversation, look, have you thought about? No pressure. And I came back to Mike a few weeks later, I think, and I said, look, Mike, what do you think I should look to do? And that was when my time started, I suppose, seriously around the early 2000s. In 2004, I was a federal delegate here to our meeting which we had in Hobart in 2004, and these conferences, we did a tour of the country, the most beautiful thing we ever did. And now we're permanently here through financial reasons in Melbourne. But the camaraderie was the key to all of that. And the same with my involvement with the National Principals Consultative Committee. Being the Tassie rep on that, I got to meet so many wonderful people once a year or twice a year. And that was enough for me, because when I went back to Tasmania, I sort of looked after the south, and Peter Carney, our last life member, he sort of looked after the north of the state, and between us we made sure that our newsletters were full of things and our newspapers were full of things. And we sort of kept the dream alive, I think, amongst a lot of principals. And when I did do that Band 3 committee, you're able to write things with a title of something or other. Even if you're a delegate here, you can write it. And you can send it out on an email to 186 principals, and a dozen or so they'll be nodding their heads every so often. So you never know your impact about making sure people understand what the issues are front and centre for this organisation, and it's a wonderful organisation. I think when I first came in here, of course you just say nothing in your first few times, but to meet blokes like Rob Durbridge and Roy Martin, who the predecessor, who did all that research work around the 2004 period when we just saw the massive gap in funding going to the privates and away from us, it really hurt. And you can see what you're trying to do in schools, and it's not making an impact, which makes you even more want to get involved centrally in the sorts of things you do. And the National Principal Committee was led by Neil Free, New South Wales fellow. And from then on, I met the wonderful people like Paul Rose and Lynn Winch, who ended last year, Ken Drury from South Australia. He pulled me across to South Australia once to talk, but to meet people like Ken, you're imbibed by their enthusiasm and their depth of wisdom and their passion, and you know what they're speaking is the truth, and you believe fully with them, and then you're emboldened to move forward and do things in your own state that you not normally would do. So I was really thrilled about that. Look, I follow, as I said, Peter Carney, who now he's our last former life member. He's the president of the U3A group on the western side of the Tamar River, got 110 members. He's also supports TASO, the parent body. Gives them a lot of good advice before they're asked questions about policy. So we make sure that the Gonski is well and truly alive and understood by the parent body of the state. He's also a councillor of West Tamar, and he used to be the advisor to Dick Adams. So, there's a life member who, after 4 years of retirement, is still fully involved in what's going on. It's what Jenny said, what will happen in her life as well. Prior to that was Jean Walker, who was a former president. She was honoured 8 years prior to that, and I spoke at her U3A meeting a few months ago. She runs a group of 400 present the U3A, Glenorchy area, the northern suburbs of Hobart. There were 3 U3A groups, and there's a central one with 800 in it. And it's just wonderful to keep up and talk to these people who haven't forgotten a thing about why they got into this organisation and what kept them going. So, when I hear about, Sarah Hanson-Young said before that you are the champions. And I firmly believe that. You are the champions for everything. What you say and what you do at all times, it can have a massive impact. And I might say that I've still got the I give a Gonski sticker, the big, was it 40 centimetre wide diameter? Still got that on the side of my vehicle, even though it doesn't have union stuff on it anymore. But I've got it there, and I make sure when I go down to the local Woolworths supermarket, it's parked opposite the exit for all the cars. And you would be really surprised at the amount of people that actually stop on my way out with my groceries and have a conversation about Gonski. And I think it's more powerful when you're not associated with a union or a teacher or whatever, if you could get parents to have that I give a Gonski on the side of their truck or their vehicle and let them have the conversations. All we need to do is arm them with the knowledge and the information that we've done so well. And I think, Karina, you said earlier on that you'll have no troubles and full confidence in this Gonski campaign that's coming up second time around because of the dedication and the passion of those in this room. You know we will win the battle. We will win the battle. We have to win the battle. And Australia has to win the battle. But it's going to take this next generation of you, with old fellas like us and Jenny, always there. We're always there in every state. We only have to be called upon, and we will do what we can to make sure that the goals of the AEU and the goals of public education continue. Thank you very much.
Thanks.